There's only one bronze bomber, Deontay Wilder. He said, and I quote, "I'll be very surprised if Usyk stick to his word. We'll see what happens." Will Olekasndr Uysk change his mind about fighting Deontay Wilder after his devastating KO of Robert Helenius? And on the mics, we have Zay, we have Dujanay Bland, and we have the real Lil. And for starters, I think what this implies to me, his statement, it basically confirms that that's who Deontay Wilder wants next. By him saying he'll stick to his word, that literally confirms, because there's been a lot of talk about who Wilder should and who does he want to fight next. Is it Anthony Joshua? Is it, Olekasndr Usyk? Is it Andy Ruiz? Well, this statement pretty much confirms to me that he's looking at Olekasndr Usyk, which I do believe is the right decision to be made. When you talk about Olekasndr Usyk having all the belts in the heavyweight division, it's a smart move. It's a smart business move for Wilder to come back and be at the top of the class and potentially get a foot fight with Tyson Fury. Now, I'm not sure how Olekasndr Usyk fails right now. It's just hard for me to believe that he will run away from this fight. I think if Olekasndr Usyk wants this fight, it will happen because, look, Olekasndr Usyk don't strike me as a guy who runs away from challenges. My man's just fought in a war, came back and fought Anthony Joshua right after that. If there's anything to be afraid of, it's guns and bombings and, cars flipping over and RPGs and landmines. I mean, come on. You really scared of a punch, bro? So, no, I'm not buying that. I think potentially this may be the next fight. Either way, if you're Olekasndr Usyk fighting Wilder, fighting Fury, Fury has a size advantage. Okay, so it's not going to be an easy fight. All Fury has to really do is kind of like use his physical attributes to wear and tie you down, and he'll probably win that fight, even though I do believe that Olekasndr Usyk could still win that fight. Very much so. I do believe it. But if Fury wants to, Fury has a tendency when he's in a little trouble to use those physical gifts and just put his body weight on you and tie you out and get you out of there. And he has the gifts. Hey, what you could do? 6'9", bro. So either way, matchup wise, whether it's Tyson Fury, whether it's Deontay Wilder, more than likely Usyk is not going to be favored to win either fight. So I don't see why he backs off.
When we look at this potential fight between Usyk and Wilder, Wilder's the underdog in this fight. We talking about the more tactical fighter, the more technician is Usyk. We seen him dismantle Anthony Joshua, who's supposed to have all this power in the world, who's supposed to be the next heavyweight superstar. And
you mean Vegas? You talking about Vegas because I believe Vegas will pick Wilder to be the favorite. Not I'm talking about my opinion.
People watching boxing, when you talk about Usyk, we see the tactical fighter, and we see that Wilder has issues with tactical fighters, guys who are technicians in the ring. We see him have issues with Luis Ortiz in back-to-back fights, where it took a knockout power punch to really get him out and get Luis Ortiz out of there. But in majority of the fight, we've seen Ortiz take Wilder to the deep waters, and he almost knocked Wilder out at one point in the first fight. I think we talk about Usyk. Usyk is a guy who's built for 12 rounds. He has the gas tank for it. He's actually looking forward to it. He's not gonna knock. He's not anticipating the knockout, but he's gonna keep hitting you hard. He's gonna keep throwing them jabs, them hooks, and he's gonna keep connecting. And he knows what he's doing. He doesn't stop. He just keeps pushing forward. Is Wilder prepared to fight Usyk? Because it's gonna be similar to Tyson Fury, except no body weight heavy on you. No other extra stuff that people kept talking about. You're going to be gassed up because you're going to throw all these punches, and you're going to be gassed to the point where you don't want to throw any more punches anymore. Now you just want to go lean back and wait for a counter. It's not going to happen like that with Usyk. Usyk's going to keep pushing forward, keep swinging. You're going to keep throwing punches. You may connect some, may miss a lot, and then Usyk's still going to charge forward. So Wilder needs to be prepared, strapped in, and ready to put everything on the line for this fight. His gas tank needs to be increased mightily. It can't be what we've seen against Fury back-to-back times. Hopefully he has the gas tank. Hopefully he's not anticipating a one-punch knockout, a one-round knockout, and he needs to just continue to have that tenacity to win the fight, but also to increase his stamina and endurance in the ring, because if he doesn't, it's going to be a long night for him. Like I said, for me, if this fight was to happen and was to be set up, Usyk is in the driver's seat until shown otherwise. He's already proven that he's a heavyweight champ. He's proven it already. He beat Joshua twice, back-to-back fights. Whether you like him or not, that's not a tough feat, especially when Usyk got to go up and weight to fight the guy. and take away his belts and beat him the way he's beating him in a dominating fashion. So for me, it's going to be a tough fight for Wilder. I know he wants to go for the belts, but hopefully he's prepared for a war because that's exactly what he's getting himself into.
I think it's a tough fight for both. Real quickly here, it's a tough fight for both. Like, I explain all the reasons why. You said a point that I'm about to actually nitpick. You thought you was giving yourself an assist. Nah, brother, you gave the ball to me. Turnover. Like, you said something about he doesn't have to worry about Fury's body weight to tire him out. He doesn't. Olekasndr Uysk can box. He's one of the best boxers, tactician. Matter of fact, he is in the heavyweight division, period. But he's not going to tire you out that way. You know, if he hits you and you keep getting tagged over the course of the fight, he's going to tire you out that way. But at least Wilder doesn't have to worry about the physical disadvantage. He has the physical advantages over Olekasndr Uysk. Now, the thing is Usyk going to take that punch? I saw him take AJ's punch, but he was hurt. Like, that last fight, he was hurt. Like, he came back, credit to him, went back in the corner 10, 11, 12 rounds, won the rounds. He made the second half adjustment, but he was hurt. Wilder, more than likely you get hurt, you going down. Like, that's the difference. Can he take a heavyweight punch from Deontay Wilder and respond? We'll have to see. Dujane, talk to me.
Man, I worry about Wilder in this one. And I think you're talking about a guy who he makes his living on, he's a money shot guy. And when you talk about Usyk being basically a technician in the ring, those are two different styles, and usually the technician wins, and he's proven that. Look at where he is. So sure, maybe not the same size things that Wilder would have to worry about if he's facing a Fury, but when you're talking about a tactical fighter, he knows where to hit, how to hit, what to do against those bigger guys, those guys that like to come in and, looking for those hard, big time shots to take you out. I think he has the ability to I think he definitely should be the favorite, but I agree with you on the fact that Wilder will be the favorite. They're going to overlook Usyk for sure. But at the end of the day, and we've seen Wilder get knocked out before, and that's where my concern is. Guys who get knocked out like the way that he got knocked out, it starts with you start to become a repeat offender in that same way. Like it's funny how that transpires. It happens once, and it's like guys don't learn. Like Isaiah said, look, man, you got to come in here and you got to be ready. You got to be physically ready. You have to have your stamina. You got to be ready to go rounds. This ain't about coming in here and laying up, super power, super punch shots and trying to knock a guy out early. Tactical guys usually are smarter than that. They don't get themselves in positions to where they're going to take money shots to the chin and big time shots to the head on these type of guys. They study very well. And I think those two differences, sometimes these big guys with big shots just don't learn. And the tactical guys seem to wear them down. And we all thought Anthony Joshua was that guy. I did too. I mean, who wouldn't have? But at the end of the day, he got worked, and he got worked twice. I wouldn't expect anything different.
I think for me, like, it's like this. Olekasndr Uysk, I'm a fan. First off, I'm a fan of everybody in the heavyweight division, to be honest with you. Like, I just love boxing that way to the point where I have no rooting interest. When you love a sport, like literally love a sport, you rock with everybody, especially when they get in the ring and risk their lives on the line. So I have nothing but respect for all the guys. I think it's another example of styles making fights. For example, when you talk about back in the heyday of Ali, Frazier, George Foreman, that trio right there, remember, Muhammad Ali knocked out George Foreman. I believe George Foreman beat my guy, the guy that, you know what I'm talking about. You have Muhammad Ali and Frazier. George Foreman beat Frazier. Muhammad Ali knocked out George Foreman, and Muhammad Ali lost the first fight to Frazier. So just because one individual can beat somebody don't mean the other one can't beat the other one.
True.
Like, and that's how I see it. Like, for example, I think Usyk could beat Fury. Fury's obviously better than Wilder, but I think Wilder could beat Usyk. Like, Usyk is not a fighter that really is going to wow you defensively. He's a tactician offensively. Like defensively, stamina issues. He has stamina issues. Like he's shown it at rounds that he gets tired because, he's really a true cruiserweight that moved up as a heavyweight. So when you get hit by some power, it slows you down because your body's not built for that. So at times you're gonna lose rounds because you're tired and gassed. And credit to Usyk, he always found that extra gear towards the back end with his boxing skills to overcome that. But the question is, if he gets tagged by Wilder, which nothing has shown me that it won't happen at one point in the fight, Wilder's going to land that right hand. The question is, can you get up from it? Fury was able to do that, and he won. That's why. Say any last thoughts?
I think before this even is the question, I would like to see Wilder versus Andy Ruiz. I personally want to see that fight because that will set him up to face Usyk. Personally, I think he fought how you say Helenius? Helenius. Thank you. He fought Helenius, and no disrespect to him, but he's not Andy Ruiz or Usyk. And at this particular juncture, I think those two guys are a little bit better than Helenius. We understand he's 6'7", but I think his best fighter was Adam that he fought and he knocked out twice. So I think Helenius, no disrespect to his career, but I don't think Ruiz or Usyk are on the same level as him. I think they're steps above him, and I think Wilder should continue to take the proper steps, fighting a guy like Ruiz, and then take on Usyk because it's like a warm-up fight leading to Usyk, because I think Wilder could beat a guy like Ruiz, but it'll still be a great fight, but it's against a tactical fighter, a guy who knows the ins and outs of the ring, knows how to throw punches in volume, and it gives you that setup to, and not a blueprint, because I don't want to say that they fight the same, but it gives you a setup to fight Usyk. I think if you jump straight into Usyk, it's gonna be a whole different ball game, and I don't know if his team right now has the proper strategy to fight him, because right now I just think in their mind, just one punch all it takes. And I don't like that game plan, because like as it worked for his entire career, we saw what happened when it went to Fury. That one punch was being eaten alive, and he couldn't do nothing else after that one punch.
I disagree. He needs to fight Usyk now, and I'm gonna tell you why. Now, I don't see, and I'm a fan of Andy Ruiz. As I stated before, I'm a fan of everybody in the division. Andy Ruiz is not beating Deontay Wilder. I just don't see it. Like, it's a big disadvantage from a size perspective. And Andy Ruiz, in order for him to win that fight, he's going to have to fight from the pocket because he can't move. He's not a guy look at his weight. He's not a guy that's going to move around. Like, he's going to have to stand in the pocket and deliver with Wilder. And that's a dangerous feat and a dangerous calling when you know what's coming back is a right hand.
Even though he's a tactician?
Even though he's a tactician, he's probably going to have to fight from the pocket. And that's going to come back with something. Now, can he get up from it? He got it from Anthony Joshua's punch. Can he get it from Wilder? I doubt it. Now, the reason why I think he should fight Olekasndr Uysk right now is because, like, right now, Usyk, he fought Anthony Joshua about a month ago, something like that, 2 months ago, if I'm not mistaken. That means he's going to have a layoff. Wilder just fought. It's going to be a layoff, right? And that's where you want Usyk. What you want to do is fight Olekasndr Uysk immediately, get him now, get the belts back, and then that would be your best path for a foot fight with Tyson Fury, because it's like you could freeze Tyson Fury out. It's either fight me or 4-time or retire. Who else you gonna fight, bro? You gonna fight a mailman across the street? You have to fight me because you can't fight Usyk. I just beat him. You can't fight Anthony Joshua. Usyk beat him twice.
That's a good strategy. I agree with you on the strategy. That makes a lot of sense, because that does freeze out Tyson Fury big time, especially if you win. There ain't nothing he can do. He's got to fight you. He got to come back and hopefully he take that whooping again and you set him on his way to retirement, because at the end of the day, you really, Wilder holds the cards. He can make the play to really change the whole game for Tyson Fury.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things I was hitting on the last show, is that he could hold the cards if he fight Usyk and beat him. And now it's like, okay, if you're Wilder and you're Fury, it's one more fight. Y'all both can retire after that, win or lose for the fourth fight. That's it. So, yeah, we'll see what happens and what Deontay Wilder decides to do. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up an episode of It's Not 1999 Anymore podcast. And trust and believe, we got a lot more coming your way. Looking forward to the next one, fellas. Thank you for hanging out with me today. And, of course, looking forward to doing it again.